in response to the increased pressure for housing, which occurred as Irish immigrants began arriving in Watertown to work at the Arsenal, Etna Mills, Lawandos, and other developing industries, the residential area surrounding Watertown Square continued to grow. Initially, this area around the square up to Summer and Palfrey Streets, as well as Dana Terrace, just became denser with rooming houses, apartments, and single-family rentals going up. 67 to 73 Spring Street is a Second Empire-style home built in 1874. It is known as the Horace Wheeler Building. Reverend Horace Wheeler, who built this multi-family housing unit, was a rather enterprising minister/carpenter. He was responsible for a number of buildings scattered around Watertown. 95 Summer Street was built in 1884 and was among the first built by new occupants. William C. Foley was part of a fast-growing Irish population and a blacksmith. He lived here in the 1890s. 21 Palfrey Street was built in 1874 and is known as the James H. L. Coons House. It's in the Victorian eclectic style. At first it was the residence of Wendell Home, who was in the provisions business, but by 1880 the house was occupied by James H. L. Coon, then a grocer. Coon and his wife Althea B. lived at 21 Palfrey Street until their deaths. 31 and 33 Palfrey Street was built in 1885 and is known as the Thomas Allen Double House. It was probably constructed as a two-family house and infill. It stands on the northwest corner of what had been the backyard of 27 and 29 Palfrey Street. It appears that the house was built as a retirement residence for Thomas Allen, a farmer. He had owned this residence since at least 1874, but had lived on Mount Auburn between School and Walnut Streets. Allen, who was about 65 when the house was built, was living in his new house by 1886. By the turn of the century, Edward Allen, aged 77, was also listed at the address, then 17 Palfrey Street. The house remained in the Allen family until at least 1941. 18 Palfrey Street, known as the George Frederick Robinson House. This house at 18 Palfrey Street was built between 1879 and 1888 when it became the residence of George Frederick Robinson. Robinson lived here until about 1895. Known as G. Fred, Robinson was a local political figure and co-author of Great Little Watertown, a tercentenary history of the community. He also raised the money for Watertown's Founders Monument. Robinson married Grace Pratt, the daughter of Miles Pratt, and they lived in Pratt's outstanding Italian-style house across Palfrey Street at 106 Mount Auburn Street. It stands on the rear of what was the property of John K. Stickney on the corner of Mount Auburn and Palfrey Streets. It may have been built by Stickney, a shipmaster and cashier at the Union Market National Bank. 9 and 11 Dana Terrace was built in 1890 in the Victorian eclectic style. Dana Terrace was named after Benjamin Dana, who lived at the corner of this and Summer Streets, and was for many years the town's postmaster and one of its storekeepers in the square. This multifamily dwelling represents the response of the town to its growing population.